I'm sure he knows that probably my sentiments are always against his team, but not with the games that I've watched for Young Green Eagles, they are not a pushover, really. They are not.
Let's look at Indeni. Indeni will be facing LD.
The oil men have invested a lot of money in football. They shocked Nkana Football Club, these guys. So for me, if you ask me, I have watched them 2 times this season, and I am not convinced with the type of football they play. But surprisingly, results always go their way. So for me, Lusaka Dynamos should really, really watch out. Lusaka Dynamos is also a team that is in the market, in the football market, buying all the big names. And by the way, there's news that One Coffee, is it Coopers? You remember Coopers?
Yeah.
The midfielder from the player from Botswana.
They want to...
The one who tormented Zambia national soccer team.
Yeah.
That boy has been a center of discussions this week. Lusaka Dynamos has been discussing with I don't know whether it's the Township Rollers or I don't know whether it's Township Rollers. I don't know the club where that boy plays from, but the deal is almost done, and that guy might be joining Lusaka Dynamos in this coming year, starting January. And you see, when you look at what Lusaka Dynamos is doing on the football market, is they are basically going for all the good players.
Stars.
So for me, what I just hope is that Wedson Nyirenda and Ian can sit down together and find the best fit of these players so that they start playing as one team. Currently, Lusaka Dynamos, the last game they won by 4-1. I was in the stadium at Woodlands. There was a double header there. They can be a force to reckon with this season if they just play their cards right. And for me, that game, the Oilmen, back at home, I don't see the result going their way because Lusaka Dynamos, Collins Kombe is on fire there. He's on fire there. And you see, when you look at Chabula and Collins Kombe,
the combination.
Their midfield is very, very complete. Very, very complete midfield. And their defense is also on point because now they are not conceding as many goals as they used to. So probably they are a better side. And for me, if you ask me, my prediction is Lusaka Dynamos is beating
the Oil Boys.
Probably by 1-0. The Oil Boys have done well, and they can't continue riding on luck. Sometimes my estimate victorious this afternoon.
That's if they will be good officiating. Let's look at let's look at the Beautycon team which is facing Prison Lepers. The Beautycon team which is coming from a disappointing result.
It's a very, very difficult game to discuss that one because Beautycon has got this impression about their last performance. So they are also hoping that for them to maintain their top spot. By the way, let's not take anything away from Beautycon. They are league leaders at the moment, and they are. I think they are.
No, make it clear that on goal difference.
Of course, yeah, on goal difference, Zesco United is second, but Beautycon is number 1, and they are probably going into that match wanting to maintain their top spot. And for me, Prison Leopards again has been a very, very big shocker. And you know, as we speak, Prison Leopards is sitting in the top 4. They are 4th on the log, if I'm not mistaken. So this particular match is a situation where Prison Leopards is also pushing to say we can do it. If after 10 games we can be sitting on position 4, it's possible we can. So they are beginning to believe in themselves that football is all about 11 men on the pitch performing, and we can do it. They have done it, and they can do it. For me, Beautycon is not going to have an easy game. And my prediction in that match is that it will be a draw. There will not be too many wins today. The games are very tough.
The Bangers are being visited by Lumwana Radiance. And when you look at the Bangers, they've been on-off form for me, I would say. So, for this game,
the Bangers are very not consistent, if you ask me. It's a situation where I would liken them to Man United. Before we shift our focus to the APL. But what the Zanaco Football Club is going through is a situation where Coach Chris Kaunda will give you the results this week. And shockingly, the following week, the opposite will happen. So it's like from one extreme end of a victory to another extreme end of a loss. Consistency is not there. But I can only wish Lumwana Radiants and their new coach, because Lumwana Radiants will be in Lusaka tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. They'll be playing from Sunset Stadium in the afternoon. And Kenan Chemboko, this will be his second game in charge. His first game in charge was against Power Dynamos in the course of the last week. And they lost that match, I think, if I'm not mistaken, by a goal to 0. So it was a bad start for him as a coach. And, you know, he was just replacing the big shoes of one Patrick Piri. And, you know, where Patrick Piri was, he leaves the club and you join in and the expectations are too high. Those are actually the consequences of having joined the club, which had a poor form of results, which led to the departure of your fellow coach. So to get into that kind of scenario, you really need to be strong and just focus on the results and hard work. I can only hope that the players will not let him down. He's got a very, very good combination of players at Lumwana Radiants. And now, the only thing that we need is the result on the pitch. They lost to Power Dynamos. They are coming to Sunset Stadium tomorrow to the inconsistent Bankers, Zanaco Football Club. And it will be a very, very tough game. But if you ask me, Chris Kaunda will emerge victorious tomorrow.
Sunday, Power Dynamos are facing Kawi Warriors, which is an interesting encounter for me as well.
Perry Mtapa is back with the squad, and we can only wish Power Dynamos all the best. Not to take away anything from Walianganga, Wanje, Waliankuku, Aliakakari, Mlando, as they call it. The squad at Power Dynamos has all the names that you can talk about and all the talent. All the talent. Remember that the right back and the left back are all national team players, and when you look at Perry Mtapa and his experience, he's got everything he needs. I know in his absence, Juan Masao Sotembo beat, I think he's won 2 games in a row. He's beaten Lumwana Radiants, and now they are getting into this match on a positive trajectory of results, and I don't see Cabo Warriors stopping them. Cabo Warriors is not a bad side. It's a very, very good side. But when you look at the magnitude of this match and what is involved, I can predict a positive result for Power Dynamos tomorrow.
Not a draw?
No, not a draw. Not a draw. Power Dynamos will have an upper hand in that match.
We've got 2 games that are postponed due to the continental fixtures that are there. We've got Quito United was supposed to face NAPSA, and Ngwazi was supposed to
lose to
lose. We're supposed to face Ghana, and Angorapson has already predicted that game. But Angorapson, let's maybe, before we go into Continental, let's just look at a quick one in terms of the Eden. We saw an increase in the Eden sponsorship deal, where it was increased from 1.1 million to 1,800,000. Yeah, that's 1,840,000. Is this going to put more pressure on the Eden clubs now?
No, I think it will attract competition now. It will bring in competition because I think with all the available resources administratively, and for me, this is a situation where all things being equal, we need to appreciate the efforts that the Football Association of Zambia is putting into the sponsorship of these leagues. For me, that is a very, very positive thing to do, because when you look at where we are coming from and where we are going, Zambian football is developing at a very, very fast rate. Of course, I shouldn't be accused of campaigning for one Andrew Kamara, but clearly these are the results that we can be seeing, except you and I judge the administration on the national team performance.
Yeah, true.
Which is very, very unfortunate. But for me, the sponsorship, the increase from 1.1 million to 1.840 million in the sponsorship is a great achievement to the Eden League, and even the coverage. So you will see that a lot of young players who are applying their trade in the Eden League, they will now start being identified, because now there's a deal of covering matches every weekend. I think starting with the Kaiser game tomorrow, it will be live on TV3 tomorrow. And it's an opportunity for the young players to showcase their talent. The rest of the world is going to see that talent is actually in the Eden League. So they will have an opportunity to be seen and just expose themselves.
And a quick one for the Eden fixture. We've got games today that are being played, And these games, National Assembly is facing City of Lusaka, which is an early kickoff. It has already started. It's by Queensmead in Lusaka.
There's a double header there. I would have loved to be there.
And there is now an interesting encounter for me, I would say, is Zesco Malaiti versus Muza, which is at 15 hours, same at Queensmead. And we've got Kashikishi. We've got Kashikishi Warriors. Big spenders, but poor results for me. They're facing Zesco Shockers. That's at 15 hours, and Kashikishi is at home. Okay, maybe before. Okay, I'll come back to this. And we've got Police College versus Nchanga Rangers. It's at 15 hours at Lilai. And we've got Kansenshi Dynamos versus Trident. It's at 15 hours as well. Angorapson, the big spenders, they made it clear even the time they got promoted to say, we are not here to stay, we are aiming high. But let's look at the results that they are producing.
When you say, it's unfortunate, the promise and the character they showed in the beginning and the results, they are not going their way. You have to tilt the table upside down for you to see them on top of the table. Because apparently when you leave the table in its current form, I think they are the least. And it's unfortunate that Kashikishi Warriors have not yet found their feet, and I can only hope that with the resources they have, they manage to survive and stay in the league. But the interesting games, like you have said, are the games that are at Queensmead Stadium this afternoon.
National Assembly versus City of Lusaka.
One of the best games is in town again, Lilai Police College versus Nchanga Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very, very big match for me. And Nchanga Rangers has been showing very, very positive signs of coming back to the Premier League. And we can only wish them all the best.
So Angorapson, you didn't. What's your prediction for the Kashikishi? Because they are playing Zesco Shockers. Are we seeing them delivering a shocker?
You see, Kashikishi Warriors is a letdown, really. It's a very, very huge letdown. And if there's a team that is playing Kashikishi Warriors, probably the coach even knows that these are free given points. They probably get into the pitch just doing formalities, and the result will go their way. It will be very shocking if Zesco Shockers gets a shocking result, because that is like a given game. I'm not taking anything away from Kashikishi Warriors, but I think we all have struggling. But when it goes to the continental games, they are always upping their game and doing the right thing. For me, if you ask me, NAPSA Stars have a very, very difficult encounter against UD Songo. UD Songo are not pushovers. They've been in continental football consistently for a couple of years now, and they are not a pushover. But when you look at NAPSA Stars, we have seen the coming back of senior players. Tapson Kaseba has been training with the team. We have seen Otieno is back. And I can only hope that one Silavwe will be fit enough to feature, because that is one boy who NAPSA Stars is missing at the moment, because he limped off the game with an hamstring injury the other week. So I can only hope that the players that were injured should be back to give a headache to Coach Fati. But they have the material, they have the caliber of the players that we all want to see represent the country, and it will be an interesting encounter. It will be at Heroes Stadium, and we can only wish NAPSA Stars all the best.
And we will definitely be there to cover that game, in fact. Let's look at team Ilikalamba, Likulu, Ngana. We are seeing...
You see, Pedro, the Angolan side that is coming on Wednesday is not a small team. Both on the continental showpiece, as well as in Angola itself. We all know them. And we had a couple of Zambian players plying their trade in Angola for that same club. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Felix was once there. And it's not a small team. It's not a small team.
So Ngana has got...
If I'm not mistaken, even Karawa was once there. He went there briefly, then and you see, it's not an easy team. Not an easy team. And Ghana Football Club, the positive results that we got when we went away for the Champions League match, we went and scored a goal away from home. When we came back home, it was so disappointing to see a scoreless draw at home in the presence of your 200 fans as allowed by CAF. You get a scoreless draw. You begin to wonder whether we are convincing enough as Nkana Football Club to push the agenda in the Champions League forward. Because if you can fail to score at home, okay, not to undermine the club, that is a very, very small club that you fail to score at home. Now we are getting Pedro Atletico of Angola coming in, and the return of Idris Mbombo to the pitch should be our
Idris Mbombo.
And that will be Coach Kaindu's first game in charge of Nkana Football Club, and we can only wish Nkana Football Club all the best, but it's not going to be an easy game. No,
Yeah, and then on the Green Eagles team, what's your prediction on it?
Green Eagles, they are under Agre Chiangi. They have gained enough experience now, and they are shockingly, they are very, very consistent. If you ask me, if there's a manager for me in the Zambian league that has been very, very consistent in terms of delivering results, Green Eagles has been very, very positive. They are consistently playing continental football year in, year out. When you look at their position on the Zambian league, they are probably placed better than Nkana Football Club, and the consistency in the results shows it all. Of course, they were quite unfortunate. They went to a big club in midweek and they were hammered by Nkana Football Club the other weekend by 3-1. And that result in itself, for me, those were two continental representatives having a training session. And Nkana Football
In
Club
preparation.
emerged victorious in that match. And naturally, you know Nkana Football Club there. So
When
really goes to the fans who are out there. The game will be played from Koloma Stadium in Lusaka, not in Choma. So you have to know that the Green Eagles is shifting camp into Lusaka this weekend. They have to train from Lusaka, get used to the turf at Koloma Stadium, and prepare for the encounter which they will have.
Let's go abroad. When I say abroad, we saw the round of 16 draws being made for the UEFA Champions League, and maybe let me just go do a quick one on it so that we see if there are any shockers that shocked you anyway. Which are draws?
Is Man United there?
No. Man United is not there.
You see now. You see how life is now. Man United fans are now looking for this to my decoders that show
to Manan can. No names mentioned.
You see.
Why is it that whenever we talk of Man U, our director? No, it's fine. But then I'm going to on a quick one. We've got a round of 16 where Man City will be facing certain teams. Is it Bayern Munich, Breaking Bad, something like that?
Mönchengladbach.
And then we've got Lazio versus Bayern.
For me, that's if you look at that one match in itself, Man City will carry the day because Mönchengladbach back in the league in Germany are not doing very well, and the trajectory of Manchester City and the experience they have in the Champions League, for me that was one of the easiest draws, if not the easiest draw of all the draws that happened on that day.
We've got Lazio versus Bayern. For me, I would say Lewandowski versus is it Immobile or something like
that? Lazio. Back home in Italy, they are not doing too good as well. Their results come, their results go. But when you look at the experience of Bayern, the German machine, I would give them a favor. It will go Bayern's way.
We've got another one, which is an interesting encounter for me: Atletico Madrid versus Chelsea.
The inconsistent Chelsea. They are a very good side. Chelsea Football Club is a very good side under Frank Lampard. And for me, really, when you look at the way he has built the team, for me, that is a very, very serious project for the future. 2-3 years from now, Chelsea will be a force to reckon with. He started very well. I love the patience and the support that he's getting from the board, even at the point of poor results. He has the support of the board in what he's doing. And for me, it's a long-term project. If you ask me, that is a very, very difficult game because Diego Simeone is also on fire back at home. He's winning games left, right, and center. Currently, they are log leaders in Spain. And the coming of Suarez to the squad sums it up. And Suarez and the English league where he has been before, that would be an interesting encounter. But I see Atletico Madrid pulling through that match.
We've got Leipzig versus Liverpool. For me, I would say these are cousin teams.
Leipzig can shock you. Liverpool has the experience. One thing I've loved about Liverpool this season is they have a lot of injuries. One thing I have loved is whoever is given the job on match day is delivering the same expected results. I saw that in midweek when they played, when they beat Tottenham Hotspurs. The youngsters that are coming on board at Liverpool are doing exactly what the senior players do. So even in the absence of the senior players who are injured, the youngsters are up to the challenge. And for me, that match, if you ask me, Liverpool, Liverpool will use the experience.
And the
Leipzig, we messed up as Man United on that day, and now they sent us packing from the Champions League back into the Europa League. So now football, for some of us, will just be watched on Thursdays instead of Tuesdays and Wednesdays as usual. Very, very shocking result it was.
Anyway, let me just do a quick one on the remaining fixtures. We've got Porto versus Juventus, Barcelona versus Paris and Saint-Germain, which is, for me, which is something that people are looking forward to, seeing Neymar going against Lionel Messi. And we've seen a Barcelona side which is struggling.
You've seen of late, we've been hearing stories that Barcelona is getting to a stage where the capacity, the financial capacity of maintaining high-ending players like Messi is proving to be a challenge. And I think for me, the only destination where Messi can go, where they can cope, is PSG. And now, before that transfer comes through, before that move is triggered, if at all to be triggered, it's a situation where you have to face the high-flying PSG when they are in top form. PSG, on a good day when everybody is okay and all things are equal, they will manage to outwit Barcelona in that, on that day. It will be a very, very difficult game depending on the availability of the players. It may go either way, I'm not sure. But when you look at the option that is outweighing the other, I would say PSG might be knocked out by Barcelona because of experience.
Again.
Yeah.
Anyway, a quick one. Let's maybe we shift, looking at time. In the EPA, we've got an early kickoff today, Young Rapson, where at 14:30, Crystal Palace will be hosting Liverpool. And just like you said, we are seeing a Liverpool side that has got a lot of injuries, but producing results. And we've seen a Crystal Palace side, which for me has been not in form.
Crystal Palace started very well in the beginning of the season. They were up there. You see, the table for once was very disorganized. We could see Everton somewhere on top. We could see Crystal Palace somewhere on top. Now things are settling. Boys are going to where they belong. And
men are going to where they belong.
So this game, for me, if you ask me, Liverpool and Crystal Palace, in the interest of time, I don't see Crystal Palace throwing a very, very huge challenge. I know it will be a very, very tough game. Crystal Palace are not a pushover. But Liverpool has an upper hand in this match. And highly likely that from the result they had in midweek against Tottenham, their positive results will continue this afternoon.
When we look at the other game, it's an interesting encounter for me where we are seeing Southampton facing Man City, and we saw the Man City that drew against West Brom.
For me, the most happening team of the moment is Southampton.
Southampton, yeah.
If you ask me, Southampton, that has become a team. They win games together, they lose games together, everybody fights for the team. You can see that when they lose the ball, all the 11 players, or the 10 players on the field will track back and try and close all the spaces. So their defending, for me, has been extremely on point. They are not allowing too many goals. They are not giving spaces. And for me, if what they replicated in the last two matches, I have watched them, they are going to do it against Man City. Man City's, the ball passing game they like, they will not be able to find spaces in the Southampton team. Why do I say so? Because Southampton will track back as a team.
Attack as a team.
The spaces which Man City likes exploiting with their fast wingers, they will not see those spaces against Southampton. So for me, if you ask me, Southampton might
Shock people.
pick up a point or points in that particular match. Not to take anything away from Man City, but I think their current form favors them.
1930, we are seeing a very, very good encounter where we are seeing a struggling Arsenal traveling all the way to Everton, and the Everton side, which is on fire for me, I would say. And I think if Arsenal loses this game, they'll drop into the relegation zone.
You see, Everton's form is also
On, off.
It's neither here nor there. They are lukewarm. And now they are facing a fellow side that is also very lukewarm. And very lukewarm at the moment, I can assure you that even if Nkana Football Club are the friendly against Arsenal, Arsenal would struggle at the moment. So now, what is happening now at Arsenal is that Arteta needs to redeem himself today. He has to redeem himself. He has no choice. He has lost enough games, lost enough points. Where they are in page 2 of the log, that is not where Arsenal should be. But unfortunately, football has evolved and clubs are putting in their best, and they are not using names. Everton, as they are called, I see them pulling a surprise, because remember, they are playing at home. Arsenal is going away, and if you ask me, I would say, in the interest of being a sportsman, I would feel that Arteta will rise to the occasion today to erase the bad memories he has created in the last few games. Because I know the Arsenal fans are very, very bitter with him, and at the point where they feel very, very hard beaten by the results, that's when he causes a shock and gives them a positive result. So probably today they might carry the day, then they'll continue with their losing streak.
Looking at Dave and Gorapson, let me just do a quick one on these remaining games. Today at 22 hours, we've got Newcastle who are facing Fulham. And tomorrow, Sunday, we've got an early kickoff. That's Brighton who will be hosting Sheffield. And we've got an interesting encounter as well, where Spurs will be facing Leicester. And we've got the Red Devils, who are the king of away games, facing Leeds. And we are looking at a Leeds side that hammered 5 goals. And the last game tomorrow, it's West Brom against Aston Villa. If I'm not mistaken, West Brom are the ones that hired Big Sam.
Sam Allardyce.
Sam Allardyce.
For me, I think let me dwell on the Man U game. The Man U game against Leeds United. Leeds United are just coming from a very, very positive result. They are managing to score goals. And now, like we said in the very, very beginning when they played their first 2 games, I said Leeds United has one of the best striking forces in the league. And we have seen how they are scoring goals. But the rate at which they also concede is quite alarming. And at this point where Man United is now, chances are that Leeds United will leave Old Trafford with something. Leadership qualities, both on his legs and on the armband, leaves a lot to be desired, really. If you ask me. There is no way you are going to pass that kind of ball back to the goalkeeper. A goalkeeper who hasn't had game time this season.
Facing the former club.
Probably that's the reason why the coach fielded him, because he was facing the former club.
And Angorapson, due to time, because I'm seeing our director today, she's not even being kind, even if we are talking of her team. A quick one, Angorapson. Your last remarks.
Compliments of the season to the viewers and the football fraternity. Take care of yourselves this period, and just remember that God loves you all, and take care, be good, enjoy soccer, and take care of your families during this period. Minimize movements as much as you can. Mask up. COVID is back. Mask up. And see you next year.
It's not next year, Angorapson. It's next week. Anyway, that was Angorapson giving some...
see you after Christmas.
Yes, after Christmas. Angorapson was giving, I would say, advice. Let's always stay safe. Be glued, be home, so that we give you all the best next week as we prangashate other information. But anyway, due to time, I've been your host, Amos, and I was joined by my co-host, Angorapson. For us, it's bye-bye. See you on Saturday.